I'm a little bit sad heading into this episode, mainly because we're about to end this entire full playthrough of the London case. More importantly, I'm a little sad that it had to end so quickly. This is a really short game compared to the first one, or the first cases, that is. But I'm really excited to see how this is going to conclude. So this is episode 6 of our full playthrough of the London case, which is the finale, of course. We're going to cover chapters 8 and 9, the last two chapters of this entire mystery. And so previously we investigated Johann Christensen's apartment and discovered some things. First of all, we found out that Johann Christensen has been cheating on his wife Betty with Irene Kortsmith. So apparently, whatever that scene that Irene and Johann caused, and Betty subsequently leaving Johann after that incident, I don't know if that was for show or if something happened, but apparently Irene and Betty's relationship were never on good terms to begin with. And also we question Bishop Mountjoy and the curator Evelyn to see if they were involved in the black market regarding the forged paintings. So Evelyn wasn't. She's basically under pressure from her father or about running the museum properly. Apparently the board of trustees, in which one of the board of trustees is actually Horace, is apparently there's some disagreements between Evelyn and Horace for the way she's running the museum, and the way Horace was talking about it, he seems to prefer old-fashioned artwork compared to Evelyn. She's trying to keep everything up to date or modernized. Let's see if I can find it. Is it this right here? Let's take a look. Where is Evelyn? Let's see. So motive. No. Well, we'll get back to that later on. But where's Evelyn? Evelyn, all this. No. Oh, we'll worry about that later on. But so yeah, that's pretty much the story between Horace and Evelyn. So Evelyn is considerably ruled out because she has no involvement with the forged paintings whatsoever, following what we discovered in the museum. Now, as for Bishop Horace Grant, Horace, not the basketball player, Bishop Horace Mountjoy, we found out that even though he wasn't a fan of Irene Kortsmith's paintings, he approached Irene to see if she could paint some paintings for him. I'm just trying to figure out how it is. Well, she's a well-known artist, but I'm just trying to see how and why she asked Irene to paint some paintings for him. When it turns out that two of the paintings in his church are fake, and he held the authentic paintings in a secret room below the church, and when he discovered that he did not have the actual painting of Penitent Magdalene, he turned out to be a forgery. I want to say that he was involved with the murder, based on a candle experiment that Detective Poirot conducted back at the scene of the crime in Irene's apartment. And it had something to do with the necklace with the pin that was discovered first when they first examined Irene's apartment, which was next to the fireplace. And somehow the candle and the candle that had the necklace with the pin stuck in it, wrapped around on the candle, fell off as soon as Detective Poirot lit the candle. So I'm starting to think it's either Horace or Johann Christensen. So it's one of those two guys that could be the murderer, and or also involved in the forgery black market. So we do know Johann Christensen, Horace have a forged painting of the Penitent Magdalene. We still don't know where the real one is. So it could be a number of suspects as far as who actually has the official painting. Obviously, Zachariah is out. We're not going to rule. We're definitely not ruling Zachariah as a suspect because he's an old friend of Hercule Poirot, and his integrity following his character development between the last game and this game is just too much for Zachariah to pull something off like that. Anastasia may or may not be a suspect, but the thing is, her alibi checked out because she, along with Zachariah, were at the theater watching Betty Allen perform. So she could be the murderer, but we don't know because we're trying to figure out the actual timelines of what happened with not Hastings, with possibly Florence, but Evelyn. So Evelyn, we're taking into consideration as Evelyn, Bishop Mountjoy, Johan Christensen, Mortimer Ellsworth, who we're going to talk with real soon, and maybe Betty, as far as who murdered Irene Court Smythe, as well as who's involved with the black market scheme of the forged paintings. With all these ledgers and transactions that have been conducted, some of the books have been mishandled, either not so much as mishandled properly, but written in a certain way to unveil the actual truth. And I highly doubt Hardwick is involved in any of this stuff, so, he's a very strict by-the-book detective who doesn't want Hastings nor Detective Poirot involved too much into it, but so far he's been somewhat taking the full credit for some of the new findings in this investigation. So this episode and this chapter and chapter 9 will be the final episodes or final chapters in this entire full playthrough. I'm also going to talk about what's in store for the future. I may have an idea of what the next full playthrough is because I have the entire month of September and possibly up to mid-October unfulfilled, so I could do a full playthrough or not because I'm going to be playing Starfield real soon. I'm just waiting for my copy to come in the mail. But Alan Wake 2 is definitely going to be there in the near future.
Everything all right, Poirot?
I'm afraid things could not be further from all right.
Don't tell me the famous Detective Poirot is stumped.
Stumped? No. Perplexed? Oui. Perhaps you can be my perfect distraction.
I may not be the celebrated doctor that my father hoped for, but I still like to keep up with recent medical journals.
And what is the latest discovery?
Cocaine. Yep. Intranasally, via nose, or intravenously. All three forms very dangerous, although the sniffing portion is the most common form of usage. Chest pain, cardiac arrest, ischemia, and acute coronary syndrome, which can, we know that stuff. Myocarditis, cardiomyopathy, and arrhythmias. Arrhythmias are horrible. Of course, it does increase. Yeah, we know this stuff.
This particular article is about the effect of cocaine on the user's body. I thought I liked to have a good time, but that drug, too much for me.
Yeah, maybe you should just stick to drinking.
What makes you say that?
I wouldn't want my heart beating at the speed of a locomotive. Here, read for yourself. I haven't actually. I gave him my office telephone number and said he could call anytime, but not a peep.
You sound surprised.
Oh, I think I know who.
He probably wants to keep his health issues out of the public eye. Hence me offering to help, but he seems to be just fine, surprisingly. Do you think there is a chance he could have faked it all? How those little gray cells of yours work sometimes. Amazing.
Please, my friend.
You're serious? Don't know why, but I suppose he could have.
At this point, anything is a possibility. I think a visit to Monsieur Aylesworth at the Royal Society of Art is in order. Mademoiselle Babagna. A pleasure as always.
So just who showed up?
Good morning, gentlemen.
That's funny.
I'm afraid my pleasantries are to be cut short this morning. I have a most pressing matter. Good morning, mademoiselle. My apologies for my earlier departure.
That's quite all right. Mr. Demir informed me of the facts.
The case has taken a direction I had not foreseen, and it now leaves me.
I will not stand here and listen to you wallow. How can I help?
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
If you remember back in the first episode, there was like a shoe-shaped container that contained cocaine in it. Based on the conversation we just had, I think I know who that belonged to and the events that took place on the night of the preview gala. But let's talk with that individual first.
Just a moment. I'm coming.
What a great commotion coming from behind the door. What on earth is Monsieur Aylesworth up to?
Ah, Detective. What can I do for you?
Could you spare a moment of your time? If you are feeling up to it?
Why wouldn't I?
You are recovering from a potentially fatal heart attack. I would not want to aggravate or upset you in any way.
Are we really going over this again?
It would help me clear up some discrepancies.
Very well. As I've said before, I was in the House of Commons addressing the bench, as you know. And then I was speaking with the reporter.
The editor, Nathaniel Dryden.
If you say so, at the news office.
Monsieur Aylesworth is sticking to his story. I did not expect that it would be easy to unsettle a politician of his experience.
And why would I? And why would I? Oh, to thank him for his help at the museum. Yes, of course. I've been meaning to send him a thank you gift.
One would think that thanking the man that saved your life would be further up your priorities.
I'm a very busy man, as I'm sure you understand. And I don't know whether I'd go as far as saying he saved my life.
On the contrary, had Monsieur Demir not been there with his extensive medical training and a man of your age, perhaps you would not be here talking with me today. If Monsieur Aylesworth is not prepared to tell the truth, perhaps I can use his own pompous nature and guilt against him.
The nurse said herself that I had the heart of a young athlete. It'll take more than that to slow me down.
Well, I would not take that as a sign to start a sporting career. Merci, monsieur. I find myself in a most problematic position. My associate, Monsieur Hastings, is nowhere to be found when I need him the most. There must be someone else that I can call upon. Someone to fill the shoes of Monsieur Hastings. For the time being, at least. The obvious choice would be Monsieur Demir. But I wonder if he is suited to the task that is required.
I like this part. We're gonna actually talk to see if he wants to join our crew, our investigative crew, that is.
Whatever you need.
I must get back to my investigation.
What?
You need only ask. Go on.
I require a distraction. I promise you will come to no harm and...
Who am I to distract, and from what?
Monsieur Aylesworth, I need to gain access to his office without his watchful eye.
Detective Poirot, preparing to cross the line of law.
Not cross, merely tiptoe alongside.
I assume you have already devised a plan?
A requested tour of the Royal Society of Art building should give me appropriate time.
Then that is what I shall do.
Perfect.
The door has been left ajar, exactly as required. I could hear Monsieur Ellsworth fumbling around behind his door on my last visit, and combined with his hesitation to open his door to me, I can presume he had something he did not want Detective Poirot to see.
Let me use the restroom real quick. Alright, back in action. So let's see what we got here. Anything suspicious? It's a big shield. Ooh, a safe. Alright, we'll put it on. Chess. Where's the queen?
Huh.
Ooh. What you got hidden there?
Huh.
Just like the linen case. Almost every globe was filled with alcohol inside of it. That was the funny part about that. Look at this trash can here.
Huh.
The hell? What you got a gun doing here? What's that? A spoon. Irene quartz knife. Why do you have this here?
Oh.
Oh, there's the queen. Let's see if there's anything else here. Nothing.
What a revelation.
That one's easy. chest was knocked over.
I cannot see the logic in this. Something just... I should consider it. Come now. Come, my little grey cells. Is there something?
Was the wooden thump sound the chess set?
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
The glass rattling sound was the globe?
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Oh. And then now the globe move. What's this?
This will not get me any...
The globe move. What's it? Probably this right here.
I must take a different approach if I... Where is the sense in that?
Chest was knocked over. Jeez.
Hot on the culprit's heels.
Can we put the... Alright, how about this? Can we move this? The peculiar fellow. Unravel motorist movements. That's a new achievement. English tea. Let's see what's behind this bookshelf.
Put your hands up and step away from there.
Monsieur, there is no need.
Enough of your phony pleasantries. Let's see what the real police have to say.
The first thing they would notice is the politician aiming his revolver at an officer while they are conducting official police business.
I'm sure they would agree. I have every right to protect myself from a foreign intruder.
If you were to lower the gun, perhaps we could discuss the situation we find ourselves in.
You may have authority in your own country, but not here. Now, explain yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. Enough! I need a second to think about all this. How has it all come to this? No, it's not my fault. It's...
It is not too late. Your intentions were good. Scotland Yard will look sympathetically at...
If you had just left that fool Hardwick to it, we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have to do this.
I have done nothing but remain honorable to my oath to uphold the law. It is Monsieur's choices and actions that have brought us to this point. And he must accept responsibility for what is to come.
Oh, so I died? Okay.
Poirot, are you all right?
Wait, what happened? Oh.
All the better for seeing you, Hastings.
I was worried I was going to miss him.
Your timing and accuracy could not have been more perfect.
What do we do now?
We take our leave.
And what about him? Will he be okay?
He shall be fine. Although I am not envious of the sore head he will awake to. Come, there is much to tell.
Behind the bookshelf. But I never.
Monsieur Dryden.
We never got to that. Crap.
How are you?
Detective
Poirot.
Yes, of course. What can I do for you? She is, but not here, I'm afraid.
Do you know where she is?
She said something about heading back to the museum. For what, exactly?
Forgive me. I recently inherited a number of belongings from a deceased relative, including an undeveloped spool of film.
I'd like to help, but there isn't anyone here that could develop them for you.
I'm more than capable, and I'll leave it tidier than when we arrived.
In that case, knock yourselves
Very
out.
smart of him.
I've got a meeting to run to anyway. I shouldn't be longer than half an hour or so.
Pardon. Where has this confident and daring version of Monsieur Hastings been hidden?
We all have a hidden side. It's just our own choice of when to show it.
Let's take a look at the dark room.
So, our first step is...
Don't tell me there is something the great Detective Poirot doesn't know.
I must concede that photography is something I have little experience in.
Lucky I'm here, then. We need to start with a tray filled with developing fluid. Next, pour the fixer fluid into another tray and then add the photographic paper.
I have a newfound respect for those that make such activities look so simple.
Let's just wait until we see the results. It shouldn't take long.
Visit all locations of the game. A new achievement. Holy crap, what the hell?
Oh. Ah. Aha.
Got much to learn in this area. What the hell? What's this hat?
Oh.
Cupboard under the sink. Alright, let's see what I got here. So I got photographic developer, photo paper, a little bottle. Oh. How do I do this again?
Have you found it yet? You want the photographic fixer?
And how would one know it from another?
It smells like ammonia. Handy, I suppose, when you can't see much in here.
The first game? Oh, no, never mind. Oh. Once Poirot had access in the same poison. Oh, that's right.
We've already been over this, Poirot. I don't want to argue.
I have no intentions of continuing our previous conversation. What we must address now is her potential guilt.
She didn't steal the painting, though. We know that.
Her guilt in Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's murder.
Because of the ammonia.
Merci. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh.
Is there a problem?
There shouldn't be, but there must be light coming in from somewhere.
Is that not the point of a dark room? That it will allow no light in to damage the photographs?
We need to find where the light's coming in from and damaging the prints.
You continue your work, and I shall find the curious light source.
Huh.
Alright, now we can try this out.
Monsieur Hastings, may we talk a moment?
I'm in the middle of developing these. Can it wait?
I'm afraid not.
Mr. Poirot, you are a genius. Mr. Poirot, you are a genius. That would never have even occurred to me. I've got a lot to learn. Look, this photograph is just about finished.
Do they know each other?
Is that?
Irene and
It
Florence?
appears so.
And what has she got in her hand? That can't be the same cigarette case.
The cigarette case that was taken from Mademoiselle Farquhar's luggage on our voyage here. It appears Mademoiselle Farquhar had a much closer relationship with Mademoiselle Court-Smythe. I would say they...
Cousins.
Oui,
Yikes.
monsieur. Hastings, I must thank you.
For what? Allowing myself to be enticed by Miss Farquhar's feminine nature.
For saving me from whatever Monsieur Aylesworth and his revolver had planned.
If it wasn't for me licking my wounds, you wouldn't have been there alone in the first place.
And if you were, and not at the Court-Smythe estate, we would never have made such revelations. You are one of the most honest and authentic fellows I have met. You cannot allow a misguided moment of red-blooded male instinct to taint that.
You have never let yourself fall to the wicked ways of the fairer sex.
No, and that is a day I cannot even fathom.
With Hastings' help at the Courtsmith estate, something I would have liked to have considered, we now know the reasoning behind Mademoiselle Farquhar's brutal actions towards her own cousin. The circumstances around the murder need no further consideration, but the location of the missing Penitent Magdalene still frustrates me.
The hat, since they look alike.
A moment of peace before one's little grey cells must ponder how Mademoiselle Courtsmith made it from the museum with the painting in tow. Ah yes, Hastings had something for me. An invitation to Mademoiselle Courtsmith's exhibit. Even after the truths of her crimes and personal betrayal, Mademoiselle Warbeck still feels it within her for a final send-off. Perhaps Mademoiselle did not leave with the painting at all.
Shit, that's a tough one. I'm gonna guess at that one.
Poirot, there you are. What
Good.
are you...
On this occasion, there is no time for pleasantries. We shall finally bring the mystery of the missing painting to an end. We must return to the scene of the initial crime, the Royal Edward Gallery. Is everyone present? Please ask them to convene in the exhibition room.
Is there something you're not telling me?
All will be revealed. Messieurs et mesdames, thank you for joining us here today.
No, we're with the same clothes.
What's this all about? Yes, my time is rather valuable.
I thought everyone was here to see the exhibition.
I'm all for looking at some real art, as long as it's not all hers.
I understand the frustration and hostility that most of you must feel towards her. For some, even...
Hatred, loathing, disgust.
Betty, please.
Even after everything, you stand here and defend her?
I'm not defending her. If anyone should hate her, it's me.
Perhaps you should move on.
In this room is where it all began. Or at least, that is how it appeared. We are all aware Mademoiselle Courtsmith was behind the painting's disappearance. But it was not a moment of greed that drove her, but rather a well-orchestrated plan that involved most of you tangled in her web of lies and deceit.
All right, we all know why we're here. Maybe you can speed it along a little.
At the detective inspector's request, a fitting place to begin would be with the death of Mademoiselle Courtsmith.
If that's going to get things moving.
You are all aware of the fire and murder that took place at Mademoiselle Courtsmith's loft apartment.
The fire that she started after having one too many.
That is where the difference between desire for the truth and the actual truth go their separate ways. Inside Mademoiselle's apartment was the Penitent Magdalene painting, or at least a forgery. One of 4 produced by her own brush. The fire was set purposely, in an attempt to destroy evidence and hide the true nature of her death. Poison.
I know things got out of hand, but it was you that broke into my office in the first place.
That's right.
There still remained one missing forgery.
It's behind his his bookcase.
The image of the honorable and distinguished gentleman that you present yourself as has gone on long enough.
It may seem like an alien concept to you, but we English, we take great pride in how we present ourselves. How long are we going to entertain this man's twisted fantasies?
Poirot, can we move this along?
While searching the main hall for clues, a snuff box was found, full of cocaine. And after speaking with my good friend, Monsieur Demire, about the effects of cocaine on the human body,
recent studies have discovered that the use of cocaine and other such stimulants can put a tremendous strain on the human body, including an increased heart rate.
Oh, preposterous! I would never do that.
your heart attack became the perfect distraction, while Mademoiselle Smythe was able to slip into the exhibition room and remove the painting from the wall.
Faking a heart attack is pretty low, even for a politician.
Oh, the irony on that. With the cocaine and all.
Monsieur Hastings.
Funny.
Once the painting had been confirmed as stolen.
And Monsieur Aylesworth had bothered the detective inspector enough to show he had nothing to do with its disappearance.
He would get to keep the original and claim the insurance money. He was going to have his cake and eat it too.
I'm not going to stand here.
You'll stay right where you are.
A stolen painting, timed perfectly with his crossing of the aisle in the House of Commons. All designed to raise his profile, just in time to announce his desire to be a prime ministerial candidate.
I wasn't doing it for me. The poor and the needy. I wanted to give them a voice.
That almost sounds like Hugo from the first game.
I have never heard a more self-righteous claim for breaking the law in all my life.
How am I meant to help those that really need it unless I'm in a position that can really bring about change?
Which brings me to the lovely bishop.
I have dedicated my life to serving God. I have no need to be involved in any of this.
On the contrary. Nope. You had all those hidden paintings, the official Christ paint or Christian paintings beneath that secret room. You wanted to sell them for themselves, the real ones, and while the fake ones are up on the walls in the church.
The pieces you had commissioned by Mademoiselle Smythe, which hang on your church walls.
Why are we even standing here listening to this man?
Has this got anything to do with, frankly, anything?
Mademoiselle Smythe's forgeries would be hung on the church walls, while the originals were sold on the black market to lace your own pockets.
You have no proof of these accusations.
Poirot, the Penitent Magdalene.
How could one forget? We have already discussed one of the multiple forgeries, and found amongst your hidden collection the second. Mademoiselle Court Smythe sold you a forgery that you believed to be real. And upon learning of its fabrication, you lashed out, destroying it. One should not allow oneself the arrogance to consider themselves the smartest in the room, especially when they have already fallen foul to another's lies and deception. I am sure theft and embezzlement are questionable enough in God's eyes.
Good luck with that. And where are you at? Let's talk with Mr. Christensen.
Haven't you caused enough damage?
Madame Hélène, the famous actress and performer, your story is one I learned with a heavy heart.
Look here!
When you overheard the conversation between your husband and Mademoiselle Court Smythe at the gala, your suspicions were confirmed.
I did everything to keep you happy, but it was never good enough.
It began with an infatuation, but turned into a relationship. With the money stolen from your wife, you planned on running away together.
So that's why you took it. You coward.
She manipulated me from day one. She used me. She used her.
Oh, just keep it shut.
Perhaps, for once, you should listen to your wife.
I wonder how many other hidden skeletons are going to appear.
I know you have a flair for the dramatic, but I do have a job to do.
This is all going to make for some story.
Oh yeah, from the negatives in her apartment.
Deals were hatched, forgeries were created, and promises were broken. Mademoiselle Court Smythe used a mask of deception and authenticity to betray you all. She allowed for you all to see and know only what was necessary to complete your part. Except for one.
As much as I'm enjoying this show, any chance we can get to who killed her?
You shall have to wait only a moment longer. As there was only one accomplice left, and perhaps the most important. Not only her aid in the museum, but in the construction of the forgeries. Mademoiselle Farquhar's deception began before I had even left the shores of Belgium.
You were part of it, the whole time.
Taking us all for fools.
You know where the painting is, and who killed Irene.
Oh yeah, the key was cleaned up. That's a big one right there.
Mademoiselle Warbeck, do you remember the words you used when discussing your career?
No, I mean, yes. You're taking it out of context.
On the contrary, Mademoiselle Court Smythe threatened your career by involving you in the theft. The exact context you described.
I wouldn't kill her, though. I couldn't.
You cleaned the key to the restoration room, did you not? You continued to deny your involvement with the deceased. A relationship that was nothing more than misplaced love.
You think I don't know that now? I knew it had been her that took the key from my pocket. But when I confronted her...
Behind bars, that's where she belongs.
Give it a rest, old man.
She can't speak to me like that.
Before you continue riding your high horse, Your Grace, perhaps one should consider one's own actions.
My actions? How dare you? You're making a mockery of me, the church, and God himself.
He's going to say mockery of the church and God himself when he's the one that took the real paintings and put the fake ones up there.
It is you that makes a mockery, and I am sure God will forgive me for saying so.
I know you have a flair for the...
So who's left to talk to?
Poirot, the Penitent Magdalene.
It all ends here, where it began.
Deep down, I knew she never loved me, and it was all too good to be true. As Blake said, hindsight is a wonderful thing.
This is all going to make for some story.
And now, I have nothing, thanks to you.
Yeah, it's your fault.
I wonder how many other hidden skeletons are going to appear.
Oh, congratulations! What slim chance you had of making it into heaven is gone now.
Oh, shut up.
I hope you're happy with yourself. My political career is over.
Poirot, the Penitent Magdalene.
It all ends.
Am I missing a room? What's going on here? I got a true performance achievement. Deliver your findings flawlessly.
Mademoiselle Todd Smythe manipulated everyone. But that does not excuse the parts that you all have played.
Poirot, the murderer. Tell us now, or I'm marching them all down the station.
Of our suspects, all guilty in some form or other, only one committed the ultimate sin. Monsieur Christiansen, a lover, jilted and tossed aside from a life promised together. Mademoiselle Warbeck, another that was promised her heart only to become a second, caught in Mademoiselle's web. Monsieur Aylesworth, anger that a foolproof plan backfiring. Bishop Mountjoy, a third, sold the idea of an original painting, livid at the thought he had been tricked. Mademoiselle Farquhar, trapped in a partnership where you did not receive what was owed to you. All with motive, but lacking opportunity. Until the realization that someone had used a timer to set the fire. Isn't that right, Mademoiselle Farquhar? Our true relation to the deceased. Cousins, standing to inherit her entire family estate.
You don't understand. It wasn't like that.
You decided to poison her with potassium cyanide. A chemical often found in photography development via the cork of a bottle of champagne. Wearing an almost identical hat to the deceased, you were able to disguise yourself as her and be seen by the neighbor. Leaving her body lifeless in her own apartment, you tried to cover your involvement in both the forgeries and the murder by destroying any evidence. Incredibly clever. Your nefarious plan setting the fire almost tricked even I.
Did you really just praise her for starting a fire?
On the contrary, it was the deception behind the fire. A timer was used, allowing for Mademoiselle Farquhar to be seen in her office as she slipped in and out of the darkroom window.
I didn't want to kill her, but she gave me no choice.
She gave you no choice. You planned and executed a brutal murder. She was your cousin.
A cousin that has controlled me for years. I couldn't escape her.
She held you captive? I did not see a prison cell in her apartment.
No, of course she didn't. Emotionally and financially, I was her captive. I was a struggling critic, but she taught me how to stand up for myself and get what I wanted, what I deserved.
You were aware of her scheme all along?
Not at first. I didn't know she was selling them on the black market.
But even when you did find out, you didn't stop.
There was always a reason I couldn't. And what money I did get, she would hold for me. I couldn't remain under her control anymore. There was no other way.
Mademoiselle, there is always another way.
All I see is the student becoming the master.
Detective Inspector, perhaps it is time that Mademoiselle was escorted to the police station. The truth has been revealed, and Mademoiselle Courtsmythe's murderer will pay the price for her crimes.
There is something you're forgetting, though.
If you think for a moment that the location of the original painting has slipped my mind.
Go on then, where is it?
Address. No. Probably this, how thematically speaking.
In this very museum. If the original painting was to find its way into her portfolio, it would be returned to her after her exhibition has concluded. Meaning,
It would be delivered to her on a plate.
exactement. She prepared one of her picture frames and made sure it would be in the restoration room.
What on earth is he doing?
You've got to be kidding me.
It would take too long to remove the nails from the frame and hide it, surely.
The nails were sewn down, creating the illusion of being used correctly, when in fact the backboard was easily accessible. Hidden perfectly behind what Mademoiselle Courtsmythe deemed to be her masterpiece.
I never doubted him for a second.
Messieurs et mesdames, the Penitent Magdalene.
Was in the same room this whole time.
Well, Detective, you've solved both the theft and murder. I am rather impressed.
Finding the murderer and solving two thefts would have been far more impressive.
2 thefts? You already have another case?
You have forgotten Mademoiselle Farquhar's missing cigarette case.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, of course. Do you think Miss Farquhar lied about it going missing after all? Perhaps it really was worth something.
Mademoiselle Farquhar is far from an honest woman. Lies tripping from her tongue at every turn. But if her motive was indeed to fake theft and claim the insurance money, she would surely not have left it lying where Mademoiselle Babagnan claimed to have found it. Mademoiselle Babagnan's motive is now clear. How she pulled off such a cunning theft still eludes me. Something Hastings said has my little grey cells fired up. Nothing is ever quite what it seems. I suppose we are all forgeries or counterfeits in some form or other. Could Mademoiselle Babagnan have pulled the wool over my eyes in a similar way? I must return to the evidence from the ship with this new perspective.
It is you
pretty
that should
smart.
be happy, mademoiselle. With no effort at all, you are able to save the day with barely a second thought. You turned a stolen heirloom with a thief and a victim into nothing more than a misplaced item.
A case of being in the right place at the right time.
I do not believe in coincidence. You were where you were meant to be. Had you not boarded when you did, you would likely have not been invited to the gala at all. Or been able to be within touching distance of so many beautiful and historical pieces, including the silver mantle. One thing I have learned during my time here in London is that people portray a version of themselves. One to be seen or be met, and another that remains hidden from the world.
What are you trying to say, Detective?
That there are some that wear a mask of authenticity. That perhaps, under different circumstances, I would have had the pleasure of meeting a different Mademoiselle Babagnan.
Will you be leaving London now?
There are a few small matters to settle before I leave. Mademoiselle Farquhar is now in the hands of the Scotland Yard, where she will stand trial for her crimes.
You really do believe in the law, don't you?
If you do not believe in the law, madness and lunacy will ensue.
And everyone should be punished for their crimes?
Not everyone.
I believe that we should be held accountable for our actions. No one man is above the law.
Or woman?
And you, mademoiselle? Are you to leave London?
There's nothing more for me here. I hear Paris is quite beautiful. Perchance our paths should cross again.
Perhaps, under those different circumstances.
I look forward to it, Detective.
Well, that's that then.
Oui, monsieur. The cases are closed and Mademoiselle Farquhar will shortly be behind bars.
What of the others?
Judging by the detective inspector's glare at Monsieur Aylesworth, he will not be escaping the law. And Bishop Mountjoy. Once news spreads of his connection with the black market, I would question his attendance come the Sunday service.
I was hoping at least someone would get a happy ending.
Monsieur Hastings, you have been by my side throughout this investigation. Without you, the guilty parties, would not be facing the consequences of their actions.
I helped where I could, but it was mostly you. I know that.
What you may not know, and I would kindly request you keep to yourself, is that I consider myself somewhat of a...
loner?
I would not go as far as that. But it appears you understand my sentiment.
Good thing I was around to save you from a gunman.
I fear I shall not live that down.
I'll maybe hold on to it a little longer. Not many can say they've saved the great Detective Poirot.
The great Detective Poirot. As much as I admire your formality, I think we should look for something more familiar, accustomed to our new relationship.
Our new relationship?
I have seen the benefit of friendship. Connecting with someone that can be trusted and loyal. Someone that shares an authenticity not only in themselves, but in their beliefs.
And that's me. Detective Poirot and his trusted friend, Arthur Hastings.
It does have a certain charm to it, n'est-ce pas?
Oh, that's it. Okay. And that's the end of the London Case full playthrough. Sad that it ended real quick. This was a really short game. But all in all, I like this one. I like the first one a little bit more, but... Sorry, there were certain mechanics that were taken away in this game in favor of more features. I mean, I remember the breaking the defense mechanism where you had to use a certain dialogue selection to break their defensive behavior to get the truth out of them. That was not in this game at all. But the story and the dialogue was really good, though. I'll hand that to them. So this was a really good game. I wonder what the third game will be like. Hopefully it'll be in a bigger environment or a bigger story, and hopefully a little longer too. Hopefully as long as the first game. Alex Jordan, he's the same voice actor as Sherlock Holmes from Chapter 1 and the It's Falling sequel. I give this game a 7, just like the first game. 7 as well too. The new feature where you can rotate the camera angle, that was a really nice touch to it. Oh, I'm back. Almost done with the credits here, I hope. Well, let's keep talking a bit more. So, we got this full playthrough out of the way. We still have a few more playthroughs towards the end of the year. I'm going to be mixing it up between playing 3 games. I'll be playing Starfield. When it comes out. I'm still playing Remnant 2 online co-op with my brother. And I'll try to fit in the next full playthrough, hopefully sometime in the middle of the month, September, stretching out into October, before Alan Wake 2 premieres as my next full playthrough at the end of October. So that'll be my spectacular playthrough. And then we'll see what the next game will be after that. There's probably going to be, at the very least, 3 more full playthroughs, because I'm also still trying to fit in Alone in the Dark as well. and maybe one other game as a holiday playthrough. So that's what I got going on for the schedule for the rest of 2023. Heading into what my full playthrough will be to kick off 2024, my New Year's full playthrough. So this was a good game. I think I missed one thing. Shit. And I think I know where that was at. I was at chapter 6 or 7, where when I was at the Irene Kortzman's apartment again, there was an option where I can leave the apartment. I think the dog Perkins is the one that was one floor below Irene, the neighbor's dog. So I was one achievement away from getting a full completion, a full rare achievement, a platinum that is. So that's that. I may play Sherlock Holmes: The Devil's Daughter. That was created by the same Frogwares, the same company that did Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, and it's a sequel. So I might fit that in either in September as my next full playthrough, before my spectacular playthrough, or maybe sometime after. Maybe as a holiday playthrough, but I'm going to fit that in as well too. So I've seen some gameplay where it's similar to that of Chapter 1, or what's that other game called? The Sunken City. So that's that. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this full playthrough of Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, the London Case. I'm definitely going to get back into more full playthroughs, so we'll see where I can fit in Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter, Alan Wake 2, Alone in the Dark, maybe, a holiday playthrough to wrap up 2023, and a New Year's playthrough to kick off 2024. So that's what I got planned out, guys. Other than that, I will see you guys later in the next full playthrough, which will be any of those games I mentioned. But until then, you guys enjoy. As of this recording, you enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Enjoy the fall that's about to kick in. And don't work too hard in school as well as work as well. And I will see you when I see you guys. Take care. Have a good one, guys.